High Velocity Wrestling is a professional wrestling promotion based in Western North Carolina. HVW's events provide a family atmosphere featuring old school pro wrestling with a modern day flair, giving a little something for everyone. Hey, what is up? Welcome to the HVW Podcast, the official podcast for High Velocity Wrestling. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and we're here to give you the latest HVW news, exclusive interviews, and some fun pro wrestling conversation. Remember to follow us on all of our social media, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links are available in the episode's description. What's up, kids? Happy Tuesday. That's right. Happy Tuesday to you. Every day's a blur anymore. Welcome back to the show. It's been a hot minute since we hung out. However, we're back live and in living color. I got the light. It's bright. It is what it is. I got a new desk here in the command center. It's going to be the Tom Clark Command Center. It's like the old school WCW Control Center. I'm going to have like the suit and the tie, and the whole background is going to be digitized. I don't have the funding for that. However, I'm going to call it the Command Center anyway. It's fun, right? So, again, happy Tuesday to you. Y'all know where I'm going with that. Hope everybody's doing freaking great. Hope you're staying healthy. Hope everybody out there is doing their part to get us through the nonsense that is the COVID. We won't talk too much about it because it's depressing. So, we got stuff happening from the company on the way. You've heard this from me before, and you're looking at me like, what? Whatever, pal. What else you got? I'm not playing. I'm totally not messing with you. We do have things in the works. I just can't talk about it. I tell you, but then I'd have to kill all of you. And I'm not going to jail for you or anybody. Any Cape Fear fans in the house tonight? All right, I digress. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's bring on the man of the hour, the owner and promoter of One High Velocity Wrestling, Mr. Gary Benfield. Gary, what's up, bro? What's going on?
The COVID, dude. The COVID.
See? Gary's crazy, doing his part. How come y'all can't do y'all's part? Just saying.
Hey, dude, it's become the norm now, right? Everywhere you go, somebody's got a dang mask on their face.
Yes, it has. And I can't speak for anybody else, but it's not hindering my existence at all. So everybody having a problem with it, get over yourselves. There's my political statement for the day. Take or leave it. Don't really care. So what's up, man? You were showing me some old pictures, some old school stuff before we went live tonight, stuff that maybe I kind of forgot about over the years. Let's give the good people at home watching some old school flavor here. What you got?
Check this out. I'll let you explain the pictures, okay?
Okay, here we go.
Let's see. Can we see that?
That is Viper, the guy with the crazy long hair, the youthful energy, the world at his feet, and his tag team partner Steel. This is the original EOD, the Elements of Darkness.
That's right.
There you go. How many times did you guys
Where'd that hair go, dude? Where'd that hair go?
I submit the hair was attached to the bandana. And when you took the bandana off.
Hey, dude, look, I've seen some of those sun visor hats with hair on it. I might get me one of those this summer so I don't get sunburn up here.
Nobody's going to know the difference unless you tell them.
That's right.
How many times did you guys have the tag team titles, by the way? Did you lose count?
Dude, I think 7 or 8 times at UWA.
Yeah.
I think we went into APW and held them twice, I think.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, after the UWA days. If we look real close in this one, let's see if I can get it up on here. Mr. Tom Clark's in the background there, right behind me.
I'm probably back there causing some sort of insane chaos.
Oh, yeah. That one's hard to get up there. All right, Tom. Hey. So we've all heard about the NWO. We've heard about the BWO.
Yes.
We've heard about the LWO.
Yes.
All right. But have you ever heard about the FWO?
There it is.
Check that out, Tom. Give us a little commentary.
That's old school. That is basically how I met you right there. That was your gear. That's what you wore. It's what you look like. The whole nine. Yeah. And like I said before, you guys mesh so well. It's such a different mix of styles and appearance and personalities and stuff, which I think is what made you guys the best tag team we had in that little company, for sure.
Speaking of UWA, the judge is in the house.
You know what? I've not gotten over to the banners yet, or to the comments. Speaking of banners, let's get some banners happening. Bam! There we go. And let's say some hellos to whoever is hanging out with us today. Barrett Seals was the first to party. Hello, my friend.
Larry Bell. Barrett. Larry Bell in the house.
In the house, excuse me. Crystal Jackson, thanks for hanging out.
What up, girl? That's my girl, Tom.
There we go.
That's my old girl.
He doesn't mean old as in age. Don't take any offense. Just a figure of speech. I made the mistake the other day of using not the word old, and my wife raised an eyebrow at me. I said, I'm just playing. I just relax. It's all a joke. It's all in good fun. Here come the judge, folks. What's up, man? Good to see
you. What up? Hey, that's my trainer too.
Yes, sir. Shanna, what's going on? Shanna is an ardent fan of the main event. Always hangs out with us. Thank you much for checking us out here tonight. Jack Dillon, what's going on?
What up, Jack?
We're getting some people hanging out with us. So
we got one more, Tom. We got one more.
Go ahead, hit me. Hit me.
You ready?
Hit me.
Talk about it.
Okay, so I was not present at this, but the story that I was told, this was a parking lot show at a mobile home lot in, was it Morganton?
It was in Lenore.
Was it Lenore? Okay, and the story I was told was that you guys got there, and I don't know how many of you said it, but I know you may have been the only one that said, hey, man, I want to jump off of something. Can I jump off that trailer over there? And didn't the guy that ran it basically say, if you're on your own? What was it he said to you when you asked him?
Hey, he said if you do it, you're on your own or something like that. And Tom, the sun was baking down, brother. And you got to remember, we did this thing battle royal style.
Yeah.
And we did it, one entrance at a time. So
what number were you?
I had to be last because everybody had to be in the ring before I jumped.
Right.
So when they called me, that's how I entered the ring, was off the roof of the house.
That's great.
And but I had to lay up on those hot ass shingles for about 30 minutes. Dude, that thing was cooking me up there, brother. I promise you.
Holy Lord.
That was pretty awesome though, man. You got hang time, baby. Hang time.
That's good stuff. Who snapped that for you?
I have no idea. Whoever was taking pictures for the UWA back in those days.
I can't remember our photographer's name.
Hey, the judge is in this picture. Look, Judge is in the picture.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he if I can get this thing right here. He's the blonde-headed guy, right? You can see his head right there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm about to land on him.
Don't drop me. David. We had our photographer's name was David. David something. Nice guy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. He was a little, yeah. Eccentric. We had some eccentric people hooked up with that company. So we announced via HVW Facebook page last week, I think it was, that we're going to start going live every other week. Life beckons, kids. Me and the man get busy, and social lives and family lives and work and all the work, the boring part, but family life is great and all that stuff. But we get busy, man, and we got stuff to do. Okay. And because of that, we're not always going to be available to go live every single Tuesday night. So we decided to do every other week. So we are back tonight to talk about gimmick matches.
Yes, sir.
There's lots of stuff to talk about. Just go do a Google search of gimmick matches and take the rest of the night to read them all, because it's insane. And as long as I've been a fan, man, I didn't. Some of these matches I never even heard of, and I didn't include them in the list. I only included matches that I know we were going to be familiar with.
Right.
But so many companies have so many different ideas of what constitutes a quote unquote gimmick match. For the listeners, after the fact, and for the people watching right now, as a pro wrestling promoter with a lot of years of experience, as a wrestler himself, what's your definition of a gimmick match?
Anything that involves something other than wrestling, a weapon, a fan, we done women scorn matches. You ever heard of one of those? I have to tell you about the women scorn matches, but anything that's, not two guys in the ring grappling, shooting each other off the ropes, slamming each other. That's a gimmick match, right?
Yeah, and I commentated the I could barely get it out on commentary. The baby mama match.
What?
I commentated in it was baby mama strap match in HVW. You don't remember that?
Hold up. What building was that in?
You seriously, it was part of HVW Retro. How are you forgetting this? It was God, now I can't remember now I might have to look it up. I can't remember his name that you had on the roster. He wore a kilt to the ring.
Oh, Scotty Claymore.
Scotty Claymore versus I don't remember, but it was a baby mama strap match.
And we had women around the ring.
Around the ring with belts. Yes.
Well, yeah. Well, we did that. We called it women scorn too, and because I did it before, and brother, I had to be the guy getting whooped, and them women wore my butt out with them belts. I'm telling you,
they don't mess around, those ladies.
No, they don't.
Listen, since we're talking about the company right off the bat, we got the logo there, and we're HVW, baby. Let's just lead off with there you go. Let's lead off with our own company, dude.
Yes, sir.
School the good people out there. Let's talk about some HVW gimmick matches that the company has seen through the years.
Oh man, we've done every, the traditional lumberjack, cage, table, ladder, chairs, ladder, we've done, I think one of the coolest concepts ever. I think CZW may have come up with it. They call it the aerial assault match. And like two poles of the ring have these wooden boxes on them. And you fly off these boxes and do all kind of cool stuff. And we actually had Johnny Gargano do an aerial assault match against Derek Rise in HVW.
Wow.
But the greatest of all time, I think, my opinion, was, and I know everybody's going to say, you just say that because it's you, but it was Viper versus Superlaw in what we called the torture chamber. And if anybody was around and seen the torture chamber, I don't think that's ever been done in indie wrestling.
So what is a torture chamber? What was it?
It was a 2x4 frame that was built to sit between the poles just like a cage would. But every 12 inches, I put an eye bolt and run a strand of barbed wire. 12 inches. Every 12 inches all the way across, and then come down the downside and run them this way. So they were, I can show you some really cool pictures, but the barbed wire was kind of intertwined, and it just made a cage around the ring, and it was Viper and Superlaw.
Man, I would assume there was some blood in that one.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I got, you know how you run and crotch yourself on the middle rope? I did that. I did that through the cage. I stuck my legs through the holes of the cage and hung myself on the barbed wire.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it was insane.
That, dude, when you start talking about barbed wire, and we do, listen, folks, we do peel back the curtain here on the podcast. You guys know that. We don't peel it back all the way, because if you take the fun out of the show, then the show's not fun, in my opinion. So without peeling it back too far, for anybody out there who may be doubting your word about what is barbed wire and what's not barbed wire, we're talking about the real deal. We're not talking about anything that's phony or not sharp or there's no barbs on it. We're talking about the real McCoy.
Brother, look, I I swear to the God in heavens, I went to Tractor Supply and bought a ginormous roll of it. And if you'd have sat there and tried to file the tips off of it, it would have took you a week to do it.
Right.
And so there ain't no way you could have. It was legit barbed wire, brother. Like I said, I've got great pictures. Maybe we can post them sometime.
Well, I tell you what, you're lucky for as many hardcore matches and barbed wire stuff that you've done over the years that you didn't leave with serious injury. I mean, we've seen plenty of guys through the years. I mean, I've seen video of Darby Allin. My God, it's hard to watch the stuff that he did when he was just in Evolve, but recently we saw the return of David Arquette to the wrestling business, and anybody can have any opinion of that guy if they want to. That guy has paid his dues this second time around, dude. That he was in a hardcore match and he got, I think, a light tube across the neck, and it nicked his jugular vein. And I mean, dude, it's gushing, and they had to rush him to the hospital. I'm like, okay, this stuff's starting to get very serious here. So, dude, you and all the guys in HVW very lucky. And I mean, I know everyone tries to be as safe as possible, but dude, you personally very lucky to have escaped with no major injury through the years.
Man, you're right. I mean, I guess probably the worst for me was both my knees. I've damaged ACLs, MCLs, meniscus. I've done it all. So both knees have been operated on twice. So, other than that, I got a nice cut right here from the torture chamber match where I was like crucified on the barbed wire.
Man.
And it was digging in me right here as they were zip tying me to the barbed wire. The barb was literally in my hand right here. And then there was in the old HVW building during the Viper Osgard thing, I had Osgard outside on a table covered with light tubes. And I come running and jumped over the top rope, and he rolls, and I went like face first, shoulder first through the light tubes. And when I set up, I had a big piece of light tube like sticking out of my arm.
Ooh, man. Yikes.
Yeah. And other than that, that's probably the worst injuries I've had, honestly.
So I'll ask you this because I've asked different wrestlers over the years, because it's one of those questions that unless you've ever been connected to the industry in some form or fashion, you don't really know to ask. And some guys take it personal and they don't want to reveal the truth because, there's ego involved, and I want to get booked next week, and I don't want anybody to think I'm not a tough guy. But I'll ask you straight up, what's a typical day like for you? When you get up, do you feel what you did all those years? Occasionally does your arm catch, or oh man, I feel that? Like, are you living with the repercussions of wrestling for as long as you have?
Tommy, I'll be honest with you, dude. I really don't. I mean, my old knees bother me, but that's everyday life. Right. My back don't really hurt. My shoulder bothers me a little bit after a good day at work. A lot of slinging furniture, lifting, that kind of stuff. My shoulder will bother me, but other than that, I'm not like in agony.
That's good, man. A lot of guys can't say that. A lot of guys have spent half the time you spent in the ring, and every day is a chore to just walk around. So yeah.
Hey, you remember when I broke both my feet, right?
I remember that because you jumped flat-footed off the top rope onto the floor.
Yeah, shattered both the heels in both my feet.
Yeah, and it was scary as crap because you hit the floor and you were pretty well terrified that you were paralyzed. I mean, because you kept telling us I can't feel anything, and we were freaking out.
I couldn't.
Yeah, that was a scary night, man. Judge says razor barb is the only way to go. Cuts clean. Whew. That's a scary comment on its own. Judge, since you're in the chat, I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Gary here. What's a typical day like for you?
He answered.
Wow. Man. See, that's the not so glamorous part, that the kids getting the autographs and the fans getting the photos with you and shaking hands and bumping fists and hugging older fans like the older grandmas and stuff. None of those folks really realize that you fast forward X number of years later and you're legit having issues in the rest of your regular life. I mean, that's something to think about, man. For any of you out there who want to try this for a living, go with God. Be careful. Get the right training, preferably from this man. And yeah, just prepare yourself because it's not an easy life.
No, it definitely takes, dude. I ain't gonna say I've not had injuries over the time over my years that definitely took time to heal, and it took me time to recover from. But as far as like living in constant pain, I don't.
That's good. That's good. We can always circle back to some of the HVW gimmick matches. I want to hit you with one that's prevalent in today's 2021, the one that everybody's talking about because of the COVID era, because these companies are doing what they have to do in order to keep delivering a product each and every week. Cinematic matches. What is your thought on a cinematic match? Because a lot of lifelong pro wrestling fans are against this thing because we know there's an editing process. We know it's filmed like a movie, and does it take away the realism? Does it take away? Do you care? I mean, when you watch a good cinematic, like Taker versus AJ at WrestleMania last year was really well done, but does it take away for you personally as a fan or as a talent watching it?
Honestly, I'd never even heard. I didn't realize they were doing that till you just started talking about it. You mean to tell me they're actually editing matches as they're happening live?
Well, basically, it's not. So think about the Matt Hardy Broken stuff. When he does stuff at the Hardy compound, it's the Broken Universe characters that he does. That's what WWE has done with AJ versus Undertaker. That's what because Sting's coming back in AEW. Sting and Darby are going to face Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, and supposedly that's going to be a cinematic match.
I've been watching AEW, so I see that. Yeah.
Supposedly that's going to be a cinematic match as well, which means it's going to be filmed. It's not live or it's not live to tape. It's filmed. So it won't be in the ring. It'll be outside. It'll be in the back. It'll be somewhere, and there's edits and there's, I honestly, when you get a chance, check out some of the cinematic stuff. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm an old school guy, as you are, and I guess if they're doing what they can do to keep delivering the product, that's fine. I don't know. It seems like with an edited match, there's a lot of room for error because you can always just go back and redo it. And it's like,
right.
I kind of, when you know that, to me, I don't know. It's kind of like finding out how the sausage is made. When you find out, you're like,
you don't want to eat it no more.
I didn't want that. I don't want to eat it now. Gross.
Yeah.
So,
go watch the video of Snoop Dogg commentating how a hot dog's made. And you'll never eat another hot dog.
He can commentate anything, can he?
It's funny. You ever watched him do the wild pleasant or what?
Yes.
That's funny.
Larry says that kind of match makes me crazy. A lot of people don't care for it. I'm just saying, a lot of people don't care for it. Let me jump back for a second if I can. The match in question, because I did look it up, was TJ Boss versus Scott Pitt, Baby Mama strap match, HVW Extravaganza, April 2nd, 2011.
Okay. Awesome.
By the way, that video is available on our YouTube channel under the HVW Retro playlist, folks. So go check it out. So there you go.
Yes. Awesome.
Let's move on here. When I say old school, I mean old school. Bunkhouse, Indian strap, dog collar, tape fist, First Blood, and I Quit. Now, that's as old school as you can get right there, man.
Them's old school, brother. And I've probably seen or participated in every one of those matches.
Tape fist is such an old school. And I've seen it done a few times since the 80s, but I don't know. It doesn't seem to have the same panache or the same style. You know what I mean?
Well, you gotta do something a little. You gotta add something to it.
Yeah.
You gotta dip those things in some kind of glue or something and put a little bit of light bulb or something on them.
Oh God, man!
Hey, that's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Well, you know that business was about to pick up in Jim Crockett Promotions when the Horseman came to the ring wearing blue jeans and tape fists.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
And had them big bull ropes with them cowbells on them.
It's funny, of all the gimmick matches I've got loaded up for us on this show tonight, I do not have the freaking Bull Road match. How in the world did I miss that?
Hey, man, it's all good. It's all good.
Bunkhouse, of course, Dusty Rhodes, king of the Bunkhouse match. But Dusty never lost a Bunkhouse match he was in, did he?
Don't think so. Nope.
I don't think he ever lost. Got the big boot. Remember the big boot that he won?
Yeah.
Dog collar, of course, the most infamous dog collar match, Greg Valentine and Roddy Piper. There's been a lot since then. That was classic. Cody Rhodes and Brody Lee had a great dog collar match in AEW.
They did do a dog collar match. They did.
That was Brody's last match. So, yeah. Yep, unfortunately. Tape fist, I always think about, I think Ronnie Garvin, that became his thing, was a tape fist match.
Hands of Stone.
Hands of Stone, baby. First Blood. Dusty and Tully had a first blood. A bunch of people had a first blood. So, that was always good stuff.
Dusty and Tully did the first barbed wire match I ever seen live.
Wow.
In the Charlotte Coliseum.
Wow. I don't know. I want to say the first barbed wire I actually saw that I can remember was Tommy Rich and Buzz Sawyer. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But it seemed like as a kid that was the first one I saw. What about
Sawyer with them big old fuzzy boots? I love those things, man.
Mad Dog. What do you know any backstage stuff on Buzz? Anything that you can share? Anything that you've heard through the years?
Nope.
I've never really been around anybody that knew him or knew of him. The only stuff I've ever heard is just second, third-hand stories online is all I've ever heard. So I've heard both things. I've heard that, one, he was hard to get along with, and other guys have said, no, he wasn't. He was very professional. I don't know which is which, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Judge says, I've done it all. There you go. We can't wrap this one up without talking about I Quit, Magnum TA versus Tully Blanchard in the cage.
Absolutely. You had the chair leg gouging him in the head with it.
That still holds up. That's still, and by today's standards, it's nothing, but like, it still holds up, I think.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, that's memory that, I mean, I never forget it.
Never.
And I forget all kind of stuff, but I remember that.
Here's one that, again, we're going old school. Hair versus hair, mask versus mask, and loser leaves town.
Well, dude, a loser leaves town. That's just, somebody's leaving the promotion when you have that match.
Right.
Or somebody's changing a gimmick or something.
Yep.
So
what's the old saying? You go off and learn a new hold and then come back a month later.
That's right. Yep.
Dude, you and I both have met and hung out with Boogie, Jimmy Valiant. What a fantastic human being this guy is. Him and his wife are great people.
They are.
The whole thing with him and Paul Jones, the hair versus hair stuff got way out of control. I mean,
Lord.
Once you shave a man's head a couple of times, you got to start finding a new stipulation, new gimmick match to use. But, man, Jimmy Valiant faced Paul Jones' Army. It seemed like 5 years straight or something.
Dude, I think that's the whole time I remember him. That's who he feuded with, was Paul Jones' Army.
I can't think of anybody else, to be honest.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and then of course you had Pistol Pez Watley splitting and going to Paul Jones, becoming Shaska. You had
Shasta Watley, yeah.
Manny Fernandez, who turned on Boogie. I mean, there's a recurring theme here, kids. If you're a big hero in a pro wrestling promotion, don't have friends.
He did some cool stuff with Baron Von Raschke, too.
Yes. And that's all the people need to know.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
That's the stuff I grew up watching, Tom.
Absolutely. Jack, we got you loaded up here, man. Scaffold match. In fact, it's the next one up. Battle Royal / blindfold / scaffold. Now, the first one is a tradition. The Royal Rumble's still carrying it on. Blindfold, ridiculous. Hate it. I've always hated it. Scaffold match is way too incredibly dangerous. Never had to happen. I'm not an advocate of a scaffold match, and I think the blindfold match is just nothing but it seems like a practical joke. What's your thoughts on both those matches?
Well, you can't really say the Royal Rumble continues the Battle Royal because they don't. A traditional Battle Royal, it starts with every man in the ring.
Right. But the concept anyways there.
Right. It's over the top. Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
The concept's there. The blindfold thing is stupid. I've actually done a scaffold match at the old Mooresboro gym for APW. It was supposed to be Buckshot Carter and Rex Rumble. And when Rex Rumble's music hit, he chickened out. And he said, Chief, I can't do the match. I can't do it. And he wouldn't go up there. I said, I'll do it. Because me and Buckshot had been doing some stuff anyway. So Chief had Rex take me out. I went up there. Me and Buckshot had a heck of a match up on that scaffold. I mean, I literally backdropped him up there. And then he literally took – wait, let me say this too. You know, I think they only probably had it about 15 feet above the ring. It wasn't way, way up there.
Still.
But I choke slammed Buckshot off the scaffold and then elbow dropped him off the scaffold.
Wow.
That's how we finished the match.
That's crazy. I mean, I think the spot that a lot of people remember to this day who were around to see it was Jim Cornette coming off there in the Midnight Express, faced Road Warriors in Chicago, and Cornette shattered both of his knees.
Yeah, good Lord, dude. I mean, how did he not? You see the way he hit that ring?
Oh, my God. And to this day, he has problems. And Bubba was supposed to catch him and didn't catch him. So
who was supposed to? Oh, Bubba was supposed to catch him?
Bubba was supposed to catch him, and I don't know what happened there, but some kind of miscommunication.
Bubba wasn't even in the ring, brother.
That's right.
I don't think Cornette could hold on as long as he was supposed to. I think he was supposed to hold on longer.
Dude, I am officially 210 pounds now, but I doubt I could even hold my 210 pounds up if I was holding myself up on something. That's a lot, still a lot of weight.
Hey, brother, 225 myself.
There you go. There you go.
Yes, sir.
How many pounds are you down?
Right, 60.
60. Well done. I'm at 43 right now. I got 7 more to go to hit my goal. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Let's hope we get there.
The concession stand fight. Shane Odom. He's funny.
Oh, Sugar Shane in the house. Thanks for hanging out, man. Coca Beware versus Bill Dundee. I think I knew that, but I couldn't have riled that off the top of my head if you asked me straight up. Let's see. Judge
yes,
said
it was.
New Jack throwing Big Grimes.
Remember that?
Vaguely. What did he throw him off of? Was it a scaffold?
It was a scaffold, yeah. And he went through it. It was over the top of a cage, I think. And he went through a bunch of chairs. And, I mean, it was insane. There was tables and chairs stacked up really high that he was supposed to break through. And then I think he missed it. And everything just collapsed. It was, like, super scary.
I don't want to throw shade at talents. No. I don't think that's professional of us or anybody else to do, in my opinion. But when it comes to New Jack, I don't like to throw shade at talents because I think that's unprofessional, and I don't think we should do it. And I'm just going to end it right there. So there you go. It's not my style. It's not.
I got you.
I don't believe the intent should be I'm going to straight up try to kill everybody here. I just don't. I'm not feeling that, man. And I know there's a thing about, hey, we got to represent. Hey, we got to give the fans what they paid for. But my thought is, hey, I want to be able to walk to my car tonight. I can't. No disrespect to anyone out there who's a massive New Jack fan.
Yeah, that was insane. I might judge. I think New Jack really tried to kill that Joker that night.
There's a lot of stuff, and he's not the only one that's been guilty of stuff, but he's up there. Here's some more old school stuff for you kids. Hardcore, barbed wire, C4, and blow them up. I just called them blow it up because it's fun. C4, Mick Foley, Terry Funk, Japanese matches
in China. Yeah, over there in Japan or whatever. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. I've watched some of those. It's insane.
It's ridiculous. I mean, how you get to the point, it's like this is going to sound off color, and I don't really mean to get nasty with anybody here, but it's kind of like an adult film Like, when is the adult film no longer good enough? Now it's got to be an adult film, and this is happening in it. This is happening in it. This is happening in it. This. Oh, stop! That's too much. Like, it's kind of like, when is the wrestling match not enough? Well, blood. Okay. Well, not just blood, barbed wire. Not just barbed wire. This. Not just that, but this. Stop. Like, ECW made a whole company off doing that. Looking back on it,
we kind of followed that. We kind of followed that in the early days. Yeah.
Dude, everybody did. Everybody did, right?
It drew people, and people want to see it. I mean, it's kind of like a carnival sideshow. It's a freak show. It's something different. People, that's how all of that death match crap and all of that stuff started.
Yeah.
I think that stuff's absolutely ridiculous.
I do too.
But there's a following for it. People like it.
I mean, do you think in 2021 it's still something that would sell tickets, provided we could have live events right now? I mean, would you? I just don't. I've personally never cared for it, ever.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done a death match. I've done some pretty hardcore stuff. I mean, I've went through flaming tables. I've been suplexed on firecrackers as they was exploding at the 4th of July.
Wow.
Yeah, Jackson Park. And I thought the Hendersonville City Police was going to take me down, son, because they thought somebody done opened fire at that. I didn't think about that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm of the firm belief that if you insist on doing hardcore, that you need to be getting paid for it. And I don't want to rant too much, but it's this idea of, hey, I wrestled this guy and we went through 4 flaming tables and shattered light bulbs over our heads, and we both needed 12 stitches and a ride to the ambulance to the hospital. How much did you make? I got $10 that night. What?
Yeah. Hey, dude, I can't say much, man. In the early days, I did it. You know what I'm saying?
But
I did it for less than $10.
But early days.
Yeah.
Like, you're older and wiser now. And I guess for me, the bottom line is, in this day and age, if you're doing anything like that, you better be getting paid. You better be main event. You better be one of the top guys, because if you're underpaid, you're getting gas money, and then you're not the main event guy's walking away with 50 or $100 that night, you got 15 and you bled to death. Dude, they're using you. So stop working for that company. That's my opinion. So rant over. Rant
over.
My bad. Let's see what else we got here. Now this, I guess you could say gimmick, but at some point gimmick crosses a line with stipulation matches, I guess, something like that. You could say loser leaves town as a stip match, right? What about TLC, no disqualification, falls count anywhere, and last man standing? All pretty tame,
They can be. I mean, it's not a normal wrestling match, so I guess it is a gimmick match, right?
TLC for sure. And then out of that, you can have a tables match or a ladders match or a chairs match or a combination of the 3.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. How many steel chairs did you take to the head until, I guess where I'm going with this is, who made the decision to stop taking steel chairs to the head as far as you were concerned? Did you make the call, or did it just stop, or did you just see what
I'll be honest with you. I did it one time, and it rattled my skull. And every time after that, I learned how to throw my hand up and hide it pretty good. I mean, I could get my hand up and hide it pretty good.
Yeah,
and that's being honest with you. Well, I ain't taking it directly to the head.
And plus, let's be fair, you are trying to provide some self-defense also. Someone's throwing a chair at your head, swinging a chair at your head. Your natural instinct wouldn't be to just look at it. You'd try to throw your hands up in defensive position.
Absolutely.
I mean, makes sense to me.
Yes.
I've taken it before, and I took it 2 or 3 times during the day. And then at night when the match happened, I kind of threw my head way back because I was bracing myself, and it didn't end well. And, today with everything we know about concussions, I mean, I don't want you to name names, but do you know of anybody that you've either worked for you, if you worked with before, who to this day are having some sort of issues like concussion wise or brain trauma or anything of that nature?
Dude, I can't say that I know anybody right offhand, no. But I mean, it's I'm sure there's guys out there that's dealing with it. I'm sure.
We got a guest star, kids.
What up, Wesley?
Why would you hit me in the head?
I'm digging that shirt too, Pop.
He likes your shirt.
Thank you.
Yes. Say hello to everybody.
That's my boys right there.
He's like, hey. I bought the kid a new TV tonight, so I'm gonna, okay. His TV had like a line running through the center of it, and he put up with it for a good long time. So Dad bought him a TV.
That's awesome.
I'm too good to him. I spoil him like crazy. Larry asked, did you remember the match? Oh man. So this was Vader and Mick in Japan.
Right.
Mick got his head tied up in the first and second rope. Did the ref just pull his head out, or Vader just pulled his head out and just tore his ear off?
I want to say Vader pulled him out by the legs, and it peeled that one ear up, and it was just like dangling.
Yeah, and the ref picked it up and put it in his pocket. And they put it in nice and took it to the hospital, but they couldn't reattach it. Something like that.
Reattach it, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Shane says, I watched a video where Terry Funk fought a guy in a horse stable and the horse kicked Terry Funk. I don't recall that, man. That's old school right there.
Dude, that's probably down in Mooresville at where Nelson Royal had his training school in that old barn down in Mooresville.
Wow.
That's probably where they filmed that.
I've been through. What is he from? Where's he from?
He's still there. I mean, it's a boot store now, like Nelson Royal's leather boots or something like that. The store's still there.
Because he's like his face and picture up in that little town.
Yeah.
Because I mean, hey, cool with me, man. Make your money, dude. Let's see. Jack says, I really don't care for the light tubes. It's an acquired taste, some of this stuff, Gary. I mean, some fans are just not into it.
Dude, it's not for everybody. We can't wait to have you at an HVW show, Jack Dim.
There you go. Brother, we can't wait to get back started again. I assure you of that. We're ready to roll. As soon as we can, you're going to see HVW back live and in living color. Here's something that WCW made famous. Everything on a pole.
Yeah. And we actually did some pole match stuff on a pole matches over in HVW.
What'd you put on the pole? Tell me.
Dude, we've done where you could get the weapon off the pole. If you get the weapon, you could use it. We've done, we put the belt on the pole, whatever. I mean, we've done a little bit of everything.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember Judy Bagwell on a forklift. I remember that one too. Man, yikes.
Oh, that was a long time ago, dude. I forgot about Buff the stuff.
Long time ago.
Dude, he's been at HVW several times.
Yeah, I know. Back in the day, I did an interview with you when I was still writing for Bleacher Report, and we were talking a little bit about Bagwell. That's a long time ago. Talk about a good idea that they just overused. I mean, I'm thinking coal miner's glove match. That was always on a pole, right? Like something made the coal miner's glove hit harder than a regular glove, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because it had stuff on it. I don't know. But that was always something to talk about. But yeah, WCW way overdid it, man. Geritol on a pole match.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying.
They did do a bunch of pole matches over the years. WCW did.
Ridiculous. Let's talk about some of the more modern day stuff. Hell in a Cell, War Games, Elimination Chamber, cage match, and barbed wire cage.
Dude, the War Games, I've always been a fan of War Games.
Same here.
HVW kind of took War Games, and we did a show one time, man, where we had 3 rings in one building. We had a ring set up here, a ring set up here, and it was kind of like a triangle. And the center ring had a cage around it.
Oh.
2 tag teams started off in one ring, 2 tag teams started off in another. You're having simultaneous matches. Both winners move into the cage to compete for the HVW tag titles. And inside the cage was Abyss and Buff Bagwell.
Dude, I have no desire to call a match like that. I don't even know if I could do it. It was
awesome. It was cool, dude. It was a really cool concept. We put a little over 500 people in the Armory that night.
It sounds like just the sight of it would be like, oh my God, there's 3 rings here. Like,
yeah, it was cool. And a cage.
My God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was all for one match.
That's crazy.
There was 8 matches on the card that night. So 7 matches happened in the up front ring.
Right.
But the other 2 rings and the cage were already there set up. And we couldn't set it up in front of the fans.
Right.
So all of that stuff had to be set up before the fans ever come into the building.
Right. I get you. We talk about gave people what they paid for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I think we charged $15, I think was the ticket price that night.
Yeah. I mean, in today's money, that's $40-$50 a ticket.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's if we did that now, that's at least a $40 ticket.
I mean, front row's 50 or 60 for something like that with 2 names in the middle ring. Oh yeah, for sure. I would guess that a young Viper back in his heyday would have took one look at Elimination Chamber match and said, I'll do it.
I love it, dude. That's one of my favorite matches in WWE right now. I love that Elimination Chamber. It's a cool concept.
What was your thoughts when they padded the steel floor around the ring? They've put padding on it now.
Yeah, it sucked.
I didn't think you'd like that.
That was the whole part of it, man. You're inside a chain chamber made out of chain. That thing is just awesome.
There have been talents go through the chamber match and legit. And a lot of stuff, kids, you got to remember when promos are cut, you say things and it's dramatic and it's to prove a point. But there have been talents go through a chamber match who have legit said, this match will change you. It's insane. I mean, you have to learn how to do it, where to do it, and you're trying not to get yourself killed. And man, it's probably crazy in there.
Well, dude, it was probably the same way when TNA come out with the X Division match.
Oh, I totally forgot.
Had them damn cables hanging across that octagon ring. These guys are hanging from those things, doing wrestling moves off of them. Man, that's insane. I seen AJ Styles give a Styles Clash off those cables.
I don't want to crap on anybody, but I don't see the point of that. I don't.
It's something different, dude. It draws money. I mean, think about this. Think about this, okay? Look at it like this. For years, you've had the little carnivals that traveled around to the towns, okay?
Yeah.
They bring in a Ferris wheel. They bring in, a couple little rides, but it's always the same rides.
True.
But then they got, back in the old school days, they had the sideshow freaks and, all this stuff that traveled with those carnivals. That's the shit people come to see. Riding the rides was just a part of it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's why you put something special on a show. That's why you have that one gimmick match or that special match. It just adds something different. You might have that one hardcore fan that'll come just to see that match that normally wouldn't buy a ticket because we didn't have something like that on there.
See, that's why I like doing shows with you, because I get the promoter's perspective. It's not just from where my seat is. It's from your position also. I mean,
right.
It makes sense, everything you're saying. I would think, and I'm getting ready to take this big comment and boil it down because why not? But from my perspective, if I got payroll dollars tied up in this show, and I got my top guys swinging on a cable above the ring, I'm terrified one of them's going to get killed. They're going to break their neck, at the very least tear an ACL. He's out for a year. There goes my top guy. But if you boil that conversation down, Gary, you could essentially say, hey, you can get hurt on a hip toss. You can get hurt on an arm drag and blow out your knee for a year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah. Hey, look, when Tom Brady drops back to throw that pass, he's not going to not throw it to Gronk because he's too old and he's worried about him getting hurt.
Good point.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Plus
he's not too old.
It's right. It's all about selling those tickets, man.
That's very true.
And it's yeah. If you can add something, it's even like in the day when HVW did the women's scoring match thing, right? Everybody told me that I was taking a liability by bringing those women around the wall to line them up around the ring. For what? Dude, as we built up to that match, I wish Brother Roy was listening because he could tell you the story. For weeks, dude, I went out. I had turned heel at HVW for a while. And I went out and talked so much trash about women, dude. You wouldn't believe some of the stuff that I said. And the night we did that women's scoring match, the doors open at 7 o'clock. There was about 25 women standing in a line waiting to buy tickets to come through that door.
Oh, man.
I'm not kidding, dude. And obviously, I go into the match. I keep getting thrown out to the ring, out to the floor on purpose, just to let them get back at me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And them women wore my butt out with those belts, brother. I'm gonna tell you something.
Crazy.
Yeah, they was mad at Viper that night.
You're braver than I am. I wouldn't have been able to do that. That's
dude.
Insane.
I was laughing. Ask Roy; he'll tell you. I come up off the floor laughing.
What do you think about these particular matches? When I think of the word gimmick match, I think ambulance, stretcher, and body bag. This seems like such a. Do we need to do this? Is this too much showbiz? Is it too much?
For me, that's too much. I mean, we've done the casket match.
Casket match. There you
go. We did that, but that stuff's crazy. The time that I did got to play Paul Bear at WWE, that whole thing that night, they had Paul Bear, literally the real Paul Bear, in a wheelchair strapped to the back of a rollback. And and when Kane attacked me and beat me up, you don't see it on TV. You see him flip me out of the wheelchair, give me a couple kicks, a couple punches, and then it comes back to him looking at the screen.
Right.
And seeing Paul Bear on the back of the Titantron. On the back of the rollback. I'm laying in the ring. I just took a choke slam, but you didn't see all of that on the screen.
Right.
On the TV. But the fact that they took the time to literally dude, it was insane. Kane storming through the building. He hears Paul Bear screaming. He looks. There's Paul Bear on the back of the rollback. So he goes to run to try to get to him. Edge jumps in the rollback and drives off right as the credits roll up the screen as SmackDown's going off. So that's some of that cinematic stuff you're talking about right there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was cool how they involved that rollback and all of that stuff. It was a lot.
I have often said through the years that sometimes they overdo things. They overthink things. Like, you think about a situation like that and you think, did all that serve the purpose? Was it all well done? Or was it like, man, we could have done without? Look how much time it took them to get back there. Look, and that's me just being nitpicky. But I'm not always real high on this takes 20 minutes to set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was a big thing. That was a big thing with some of the cage matches on the indie scene. You know, you gotta. It might take you 30 minutes to set that cage up.
Yeah,
and you got to do it in front of everybody.
Yeah, so you call basically 2 intermissions just so you can get it done.
Right, exactly.
I remember one night in UWA that Thomas Extreme had this idea of hanging a steel chair above the middle of the ring. And I'm like, what's the goal here? And he says, well, you know, we get a ladder and get it down. He said, but I got another idea. And you know Thomas, how he thinks. And I'm like, what's your idea? And he said, I'm going to come off the top rope and hit the chair with my head. They're going to throw me into it. I forget who he was working. And I said, you're going to do what? He said, well, it's going to throw me off. I'm going to like head first into the chair like Superman. I'm like, okay, well, be careful, you know. And like, he did it. I mean, his legs were like flailing in the air like he was in the ocean trying to swim and just trying his best to get to that chair so he could hit it. I'm like, dude, we're working a little bit too. Oh yeah, dude. Wes, I'm thinking we're working a little bit too hard to get a chair involved. We'll just pull the thing down and hit somebody. I don't know, but it seems like too much. Shane says, what was the match called that had 3 cages stacked on top of each other? Kevin Sullivan's Dungeon of Doom was in the match. Wasn't that the Tower of Doom in WCW?
I think that's what they called it. Didn't Kevin Arquette win that? David Arquette win that thing one time or something?
I think so.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. When the movie Royal Rumble, Ready to Rumble first came out. Yeah, they brought David Arquette in and did that match, and he won the damn thing. That's when he become WCW champion.
Well, he didn't win a Tower of Doom to win it. He won. It was DDP, and was Bischoff involved in that match, and somebody else. It was like a triple threat or a fatal 4-way, and Arquette was in it and got the pin.
Okay. Maybe he lost it at the Tower match then, because he did one of those Tower of Doom matches. Maybe
that's what it was. We're getting ready to wrap it up here, kids. Here's a couple more I threw in. Punjabi prison match. We're all really trying to forget that one. That was Khali and Batista. Monsters Ball and TNA. The Fight Pit. Have you checked out the Fight Pit matches from NXT? There's only been 2 so far. If you get a chance, man.
Is that when they leave and go to a different arena and they're like, it's wrestling, but they're fighting too?
No, this is an actual structure around the ring. And it's got like a catwalk around the ring where you can get up and walk around. It's like elevated.
No, and I haven't seen that.
It's worth your time to check out. Timothy Thatcher's won both of them in NXT.
What's the thing they do with Shane McMahon?
Oh, well, they're not doing that anymore, thank God, because that was
stupid.
Dumb. Yes. Awful.
Yeah, I hated that.
Raw Underground.
Yes, that's what that was dumb.
They took the ropes and the posts off and like they called it I'm like, so let me get this straight. I tune in to watch pro wrestling. You're gonna give me nonsense MMA. First of all, this is not MMA. Get it straight. And it's not wrestling. So what is it? Like, I want to watch wrestling. If I wanted to watch UFC, I'd watch UFC. Like,
right, I agree.
I don't know. It's like going to the Big Lots and see that they sell groceries. And you're like, why does Big Lots sell groceries? I don't know. It just seems like do one thing and be good at it. I don't know. You know what this was? This was from 2 weeks ago. We have reached the end of our gimmick matches. Yes, we did a lot. No, we didn't do all of them. So don't nobody send me any hate mail. Yikes. There's no way we could have got them all on here. You may have already answered this. I'll ask you 2. What's your favorite gimmick match? And number 2, what's your favorite gimmick match that you've ever worked in?
I guess my favorite gimmick match as far as the big feds go, man, is I was a fan of that Ultimate X. I liked that Ultimate X. That was a cool concept. I liked how they did that. And as far as for me, it's got to be that torture chamber match, dude. That was just insane. I've got that DVD. We got to find it and watch it.
Yeah, sounds good. Judge, thank you for hanging out, man.
Yes, sir, brother.
Well, folks, I think that's going to do it for us here on the show tonight. We want to thank everybody for hanging out and tuning in. I would love to tell you we got some news for you. We will soon, I promise you.
There's stuff in the works. There is stuff happening.
Absolutely. Very much stuff in the works. We are talking about some things. We're trying to get some details ironed out. And, we'll get there, kids. We'll get there. I promise you. It's nothing that we want it to happen. It's just a matter of time, right?
And doing it the right way. What's best for everybody.
Absolutely. Well, folks, thanks everybody again. Gary, thanks as always for hanging out, man. I appreciate you.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks everybody for hanging out, for tuning in tonight. And we'll see you next time, HVW Official Podcast. Have a good night.